Hello, howdy, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the episode of CSGO News. I hope you guys all enjoyed. It's been a crazy week so far. We have seen some amazing announcements, some very terrible announcements, and on top of that, some insane announcements. Of course, yesterday's episode being all about K0nfig and apparently an alt account having a VAC ban. If you guys were not here for that episode, a brief TLDR and no follow-up as of right now. No statement from Valve, who apparently knew about this, and no statement from K0nfig, kind of wrapping up exactly why he hid this and if it is true or not, which it does seem to be at least his alt account with a VAC ban. Is it true he was cheating or not in CSGO? We don't really know the finite details so far, but really what did actually happen? A hacker hacked his Faceit account due to a linked email. It linked back to another separate Steam account. That Steam account had a VAC ban. It's now been confirmed it should be an alt account of his primary account. We just don't know the details of where that VAC ban did come from, and as of right now, no follow-up from either Valve or K0nfig on the issue, besides him saying people are idiots for believing this kind of stuff. And do I think he's going to get caught? No. Do I think he's actually cheating? Currently, no, I certainly do not, but I'm very interested in exactly why he hid this and what's going to come out of this story. But also, in some big news out there, whenever I say big, it's very ironic when it revolves around Big Clan. This move, though, I'm just like, I'm iffy about it, because it will now be Denis returning to the top stage of CS. Ever since 2017 with mousesports, he's had his time with Seed as well as Sprout ever since then, and now a final return to Big Clan. Although if you guys are going to call Big Clan a top stage team right now, currently likely not, but they're definitely going to be a better team than Team Sprout where he's coming from. Although I will say why I'm iffy about this move is because I'm not sure it's a direct improvement on the rifle role in terms of Next. Of course, the team has been wanting to replace Next accordingly to Decay for quite some time, so morale wise, at least attitude-wise, this is the move they wanted to make, so we got to trust that. It's Denis's first time, though, back in this level of CS for nearly 2 years, so that's what I'm kind of worried about, what Denis we're actually going to see after his time spent with Sprout. But mostly why I'm disappointed with this is because we see yet again another feeder team out there. We've seen it in many scenes out there, especially in the Swedish scene, of course, formerly of Epsilon, and now we also had, Tricked Esports as well as Heroic. They did their feeding as well. Now in the German scene with Team Sprout, they are now borderline what I consider a feeder team. Although, yes, it's just one player, they were doing so well, especially these past 3 weeks. If you look at their results, the past 3 weekends, Meisterschaft, it's a weird name. Charleroi, it's also a weird name. And along with that, Copenhagen Games, that's back-to-back second place finishes at these borderline pretty big events for a team like Sprout. They were certainly improving. They were certainly returning to somewhat of the form of the majority of this roster who made that minor run a long time ago, a couple years back. And all of a sudden now they lose Denis. I'm very curious who they will replace him with. It's just kind of sad to see. You understand it though, right? Obviously very happy for Denis returning back to the top stage, but it's very disappointing to see a team like Big who has to improve and a team like Sprout who has to, of course, be hit by this, and that's usually how these trades do work. I just really hope he's ready for whatever he's going to be thrown into, and if he can actually improve this Big Clan roster, which I don't really see it. And if you guys do, leave a comment down. I understand the hype around this, but do I see this being a direct improvement for now? I really don't know. We're going to have to see a way how it actually plays out. Alongside that, why they did not reportedly go after Smooya is because he's going to be sticking out with Renegades and Gratisfaction. Of course, him having continued visa issues, and that's why Smooya was not considered as an option for replacing this. I would have loved to see that, some sort of, tab sim, get him back on the rifle, add Smooya back in for the opper, but that's just a dream that's apparently not going to come true. And other big news out there, kind of debatable as well. Really curious what you guys think about this, because people seem to be on both sides of the argument now that ENCE have backed out of ESEA Mountain Dew League due to time constraints as well as, of course, schedule constraints. They actually did say, of course, so many tournaments going on this summer, they don't actually want to distract their play time or their practice time with these ESEA Mountain Dew League matches. They then reference apparently having to play 15 matches across 7 days, and they couldn't do it. Although I think you could probably debate back and forth that if they're only going to stress about a week of practice time to actually get these matches done, you think it might be worth it for a spot in Pro League. Although I do see the other side of things. If they are that constrained with their time and wanting to focus on practice, they're coming off a Blast Pro victory, so I'm not going to blame them too much for this. It does suck to see, though, a top 5 team in the world not willingly wanting to try to go into Pro League. Back in the Virtus Pro days when they were in their prime, when they dropped down to ESEA Mountain Dew League, there were a couple seasons back-to-back where they dropped out because of apparently similar reasons. But this is not like the Furia situation we saw a couple months back, or about a month and a half back, where Furia declined a direct invite into Pro League. Not even had to play any matches to do so. They declined a direct invite into Pro League to go over to Brazil. I believe it was DreamHack Rio to place second at the event. So I don't think it's that extreme or that bad of a call as Furia did make, but to a certain degree, I can definitely see both sides of this as to why ENCE would want to skip this and why they likely should not either. We will not be seeing ENCE in Pro League anytime soon because they have now declined their ESEA Mountain Dew League invitation and refusing to play so due to time constraints. And then very lastly, for a CSGO update, yet again for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, we actually see a pretty decent CSGO update for all of us out there. The first of which, HLTV has now partnered with that's going to be Valve, and of course the main page now promoting tournaments directly on the main page of CSGO, and of course their own dedicated slot for tournaments ongoing as well. It's a great thing, I think for a lot of us as well, in terms of viewership out there for CSGO events to now be featured on the main menu of the game itself. That is one of the most popular games in esports / video games history. This is a huge partnership, I think well deserved by HLTV, and all the better because if you guys do remember 2 months ago or about that time, HLTV did cut off a lot of their of course online events and really kind of inconsistent / irrelevant events out there. So it does mean the slot and the tournaments to go through should be pretty much the best tournaments out there. And along with that, they actually did update just last night and say we can now choose. I think there should be some sort of vote going on as well as to what major tournament for June will be featured on the main menu page, and thus of course get a huge jump in viewership. So all in all, that was an amazing update. Along with that, Valve actually listening. We saw some DZ updates for the 3rd week in a row. I won't overgo those because they weren't too big or as big as of course the last 2, but along with that, the now max loss round bonus has now been capped at 5 like many people asked for. Several pro players thought this would be a solution, if not at the very least an improvement to the economy right now. And now max loss bonus caps at 5, so if a team had a loss bonus of 3,400, they then win the round and then of course lose again, they are not reset back down to 1,400. It's actually 2,900. So a huge favor in terms of all those CT teams who have been reset several times in a row. We've seen Sponge and other analysts talk about this. It's massively affected a lot of games out there. So now max loss round bonus has been capped at 5, and it'll only drop down 1 tier instead of being reset all the way. So I think a great update there as well. And alongside that, it's actually a brand new find a player feature. It works for actually finding friends to play with. I'm not sure about this one. I'm really curious what you guys think about this. What I've read details wise, it sounds a bit curious. I'm not sure if it's actually going to help matchmaking at all or have a huge benefit for that, but either way, it's a step in the right direction of having to try and actually find friends to play this game with, which is always a good thing to look for. As always, I hope you guys all enjoy. I do apologize. I feel like this episode for the first time in a while was really jumbled. My energy is all over the place, so I do apologize for that, guys. Just so many videos going on this weekend. You know, Optic Gaming apparently could be leaving Esports. Of course, K0nfig and his VAC ban. We got Rick Fox and some racist cases over there with Echo Fox, and just so much else is going on right now. And also, hey, Team Denial, they're having their own issues with their owner, their new owner apparently not paying players even further. It's been a crazy week for esports news as well as CSGO news, and just thank you guys all for watching, leaving comments. Although I don't really reply to all the comments as I used to, I certainly do still actually watch them all and actually look at them all. So thank you all of you guys who actually leave those. And as always, see, I'm tired. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, okay? And thank you for watching. Until then, take care. Goodbye.